Hey everyone, we have some updates on elephant money. So one of my oldest crypto projects, probably of the ones that are still around, it's probably the one I've been in for the longest. One of the OGs that I got into during the last crypto bull market. So we've had CC and SK on several times just to give us updates. So I rely on these two to kind of keep me updated on all things elephant money. Shout out to the Elephant Money Herd. So if you are part of the Elephant Money Herd, just say hello. I want to see who's here. We've got SJ here. It seems like Elephant Money likes people like their two-letter initials. That's everybody in the community, BT and SJ and CC and SK. So that's cool. It makes it easy to remember. But good to have you here, SJ. Ichi, good to see you. Living on Chips and a Dream. There you go. That's a good name, but good to see you as well. If you guys have any questions, these two are the men with the answers. So please ask. Don't ask me later. Please, I don't know anything. The more and longer I have a YouTube channel, the more my community and everyone finds out how little I know. So that's why I bring on guests. They can make me look smart by answering all the questions. So let's do, in case there's a few people, I've had CC and SK on now, I think 4 or 5 times. So it's you guys are old friends. But in case there's some new people who haven't seen you guys before, let's do brief, 3 or 4 sentence introduction. We'll start with CC, then we'll do SK, and then we will jump into Elephant Money updates. But CC, we'll start with you.
Okay, I am a musician by trade, and I also have to make sure that I have other jobs to support being a musician. All of you musicians know exactly what I'm talking about, unless you live in Nashville or LA. You live in a market where you can support yourself with your music. But all joking aside, I do really love doing what I do with my wife. And, just on the side, I've always wanted to understand finance. And so I appreciate I've had a few people I've been able to learn from, and decentralized finance is a game changer. So I just want to keep learning. So I'm just a volunteer here in the herd. Me and SK, he can speak for himself, but we are not paid to do this. We just love to volunteer. In fact, everybody who does videos, Medium articles, we just enjoy sharing our experience with folks. So we're not giving you financial advice by any means. We just enjoy this project and we enjoy the community. So that's me.
Awesome, all right. Awesome. What about you, SK?
Yeah, hello, folks. The name's SK Crypto K. I've been in DeFi for, it's crazy to say this, but just over 3 years now. And one of the first projects I also hopped into was Elephant Money, which is also older than 3 years, which is crazy when you think of decentralized finance. So yeah, I'm just out there supporting my favorite project out there, and diving into some of these other plays since it's a bull run, folks. I hope everyone's excited for that. But yeah, just here to catch you guys up on some of the latest and greatest.
Awesome. Love it. So maybe I think last time we did a video, it's probably been a month and a half, maybe 2 months. What's been going on over these last month and a half, 2 months? There's always good updates on Elephant Money. So whichever of you feels more qualified to talk about updates, let us know what's been going on.
I'm going to hand that one over to SK because he is light years ahead of me in his understanding of how economics and tokenomics work, and he's also really good at explaining things. And then I'll share in some of my perspectives. But please, my friend SK.
Yeah, no, sure thing. So everybody knows that Bank Teller, the founder, the dev, the guru behind everything Elephant Money, he is always hard at work building. And some of the latest roadmap that I can share with you is really twofold. So the biggest items I think we're going to talk about today are going to be Trunk token, right? Every time we come up here, James, we talk about Elephant token and futures and NFTs. We never, ever talk about Trunk. But now this is going to be one of those years where it's time for it to shine. And largely, okay, Trunk token has been extended over onto the Solana blockchain, and it is the first of the two. Right, Elephant's going to make its way over to Solana as well via Wormhole, if people are familiar with that. But there's a larger play that's going to be happening there. BT is a layer 1 maxi. He recognizes that all of the incoming retail, they're likely going to be landing on Solana, some of the top chain. And there's going to be exposure for the Elephant Money protocol over there. Now, just a couple highlighted points that we could dive into later, but Trunk is just the first token to kind of go over there. And soon followed by Elephant token. And one of the main reasons is, too, not only for the exposure, but because you can then use those tokens on a lending platform called Sol Lend. That's coming down the line. So you can actually park your Trunk and Elephant over there, borrow against it, and use those funds however you please on Solana chain. Also, there's this Elephant Money Foundation. It's officially been named the Savannah House, and house is spelled Haus. Okay, but that's where the performance funds are primarily going, setting up legal and all sorts of entity work with the Savannah House. And Savannah will also be an upcoming token on the Solana blockchain, and it utilizes Trunk. You will need the Trunk token for the Savannah token that will launch way later down the line. I don't even know, sometime this year. But he's stair stepping and tiptoeing the Elephant Money ecosystem over into the Solanaverse, and that's coming this year. So we could talk about that. And then also futures. Futures is about to get another update that is going to incorporate Bitcoin and stacking up Bitcoin on the BSC. That way we can capitalize on the bull run coming there. So yeah, that's a high overview.
Okay, awesome. I would like to talk a little bit about a couple of those things. First off, so adding lending, I think that's a great move. Can you kind of explain to people what you think that will do to the price? My understanding is basically if people want to take advantage of the bull market and get into some altcoins or something like that, previously they would have to sell their elephant and then they could go buy whatever coin they wanted to buy. But if you can you can leave your elephant in there and take out a loan that's backed by those elephant tokens, there won't be that sell pressure. Do you just want to talk about that a little bit? What you think that'll do to the price? How far out do you think we are from that? Tell us a little about that.
Yeah, timeline wise, I don't know, but I think what you said is spot on, right? So right now there's so many good shiny objects, and you can almost blindfold yourself and throw a dart into the bull run and just kind of make money, right? But like you said, that would require selling elephant. And what this would do by opening up to a lending market would be you don't necessarily have to sell your elephant or your Trunk. You could then supply it onto a platform such as SolLend and borrow up to 75% of that asset. Now, you don't really want to do that. I encourage everyone to do their own research on lending and borrowing markets, but you don't want to get liquidated if the price fluctuates. So, you maybe only want to borrow 30 to 50% of your assets, meaning if you have 100 grand supplied of elephant, you only want to borrow like 30 to 50 of that. And there's a couple of advantages to doing such. For one, when you take a loan out against your asset, it's not really, depending on where you live, it's not a taxable event, right? So you can use that real money. You are usually having to owe an APR back by the end of the year.
CC, is he cutting in and out for you?
If you're smart with your play.
SK?
Oh, I hear you now. What happened?
We're getting some dropouts on you, brother.
You're spitting out too much fire. It's the internet can't handle all the fire you're sending out.
Man,
that's exactly it.
I don't know. Is it okay now? And what's the last thing you heard?
Yeah, it's sounding okay now.
It is.
we kind of caught bits and pieces, but one thing I caught you say, which is really important, taxable event. So if you sell your tokens, that is a taxable event. If you take out a loan that is backed by your elephant tokens, that is not a taxable event, but you can still use the same money. And I mean, it's not one for one. You can't take out a loan for 100% of your elephant money, and you wouldn't want to, because then you would probably get liquidated if the price even goes down a little bit.
Yes.
But that is a huge benefit. Is that summing up basically what you were talking about?
I don't even need to repeat it. That is exactly what I was going for. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, very good. No, that's very cool. And I imagine that will be a revenue stream also for the elephant ecosystem, because there'll probably be some fees involved, I imagine. And that could be a revenue stream. You know, that is, again, what banks do. They give out loans, they charge interest on it. And it's a win-win situation. People are happy to get their loans, and the bank's happy to get their interest. And now that's another revenue stream service that Elephant will be providing, or I suppose it'll be on a different platform you mentioned. Is that correct?
Yeah, it would be on Solana, which is kind of like Aave and Venus on BSC. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you're spot on. Like James said, you can't borrow 100% if you put in $100,000 of Elephant. You should really only borrow a loan to value ratio of about 30 to 50% or 30 to 50,000, and then use that capital to go make plays to then eventually pay down your debt. So then you keep your original supply of Elephant, and yeah, you made plays with 30 to 50,000 on a 100K example. So yeah.
I love that. I think that'll be huge. So just keep us updated as we get closer to that happening. I think that's amazing. Let's see. So crypto MK, you were right. Trunk is one of the things that's always brought up. Originally, Trunk was to be a stable coin. It's around 5 cents. Do you guys have any updates on? We know Trunk is going over to Solana. Is the plan to still at some point get it back up to peg, or do we kind of know what the future is? Have any update on that?
Yeah. So man, it's been so long I've talked about Trunk, but one of the major updates that happened to it is that it's no longer an inflationary token. And I think that this update happened about November, December last year. And right now, Trunk, as it stands, is a fixed supply token now. So there used to be this ROI contract called Stampede. I'm sure some people remember. It's similar to futures now. But Stampede has just been done away with, and whatever your balance was in Stampede has been fully unlocked, and you take those liquid Trunk tokens, which inflated the supply to get our current fixed supply, and most people took that over into the Trumpet contract, which is a staking in and of itself. But now that the Trunk supply total, I want to say, is about 108 million tokens fixed supply, you have that. And it is deflationary because Bertha, our friend, our elephant treasury Bertha, is set to like a, I don't know, 2% APR that just buys Trunk token liquid and then burns half of it and then mints Trumpet with the other half to boost up the staking APR. So you have a fixed supply deflationary asset now, which ultimately means Trunk can blow past $1. There is no such thing as a pegged Trunk token and dollar that we're chasing anymore. We're going past that. You know, think long term, years from now, $5, $10 Trunk. So getting it for 5 cents right now, it's another moon token behind elephant token in the coming years. It's not a bad play, not financial advice.
Okay, yes, not financial advice. None of this is financial advice. So just so you guys know, for sure. Awesome. And then tell us about the futures. You talked about futures adding a Bitcoin element to it. You want to tell us a little bit more about that, how that's going to work?
Yeah, that's a quick little update, and then CC can jump in on his thoughts on it. But essentially right now, Elephant Money Futures is incorporated a personal bonus, right? So the good participants that are actively depositing, right, a minimum of $200 worth of BNB, whether it's weekly, every 2 weeks, or every month, you boost up your personal bonus up to a max of 182%. Now, this stacks on top of this base yield of 58%. So total, my 167 plus 158 is going to be something well past 182, but you cap out at 182. Okay. So you keep this personal bonus if you're, playing the game correctly. Now that's one of the updates that have kind of happened. And so people are earning their 0.5% a day, right? That's what 182 APR is. But the new version of this is going to keep everything I just explained. But remember, James, tell me if this sounds familiar, but if someone came in with $100,000 into futures, remember how 90% of it would come in and buy elephant token directly for Bertha?
I do remember. Yes.
Yeah. And the other 10% just lands in this this BNB reserve. Okay. So what this new one that incorporates Bitcoin and also this rainy day fund, there's going to be only about 50 or 60% of incoming dollars that buy elephant token for Bertha. And that other 40 to 50% is going to be allocated between different streams, one of which we already know. It's this BNB reserve. 10% goes to that. Another 10% is going to go to a Bitcoin turbine, is what he calls it. And all it does is buy Bitcoin every day. Every time a deposit comes in, a portion of that buys Bitcoin and it just stacks inside of a treasury. And that treasury will have its own 1% APR that comes out of it to buy elephant token for Bertha. Okay. So you can imagine over time, you're going to be stacking up a ton of Bitcoin, which is in a bull run. Who knows how high it'll go, 100,000, 500,000, whatever people are saying. But we're going to capitalize on that bull run, and it's going to be buying elephant token for us. Okay. So that's the Bitcoin side of it. Another stream is going to go to something called the rainy day fund. Now, this is a little bit more confusing. I won't go into too much details, but basically, if somebody wants a rainy day, like I have 83,000 locked in my futures, but let's say I really, really want $5,000 just liquid. Like right now, I want to take it. I'm okay downing my total value by that dollar amount. The rainy day fund will be a treasury that anybody once a week or once every 2 weeks, something like that, can go take out 10% of whatever's in that fund. So if the fund has $100,000 built into it, somebody can go in and take up to 10% of that amount, so $10,000, and they will redeem out of their total value at 50 cents on the dollar. Meaning, so if I want to take out $3,000 out of my account cash, right, I'll actually be dinged by $6,000 because I'm getting it for 50 cents on the dollar. I get cashed 3,000, but my total value drops 6,000, if that makes sense. So there's a little bit of a give and a take there, but it does give people access to cash if they want out. And then the last stream, there's going to be a third treasury. So BNB, Bitcoin, rainy day fund, and then the last one is going to be a trunk turbine, which also collects funds and then on a set APR buys trunk token to keep activity on that chart all the time. And that'll reflect on the BSC side, but will translate, to Solana and exposure there too. Wow, that was a mouthful, but yeah.
That is good. That's a lot. SJ says this is so exciting. So that's good. That was a good update. CC, do you have any thoughts on any of that or anything you want to add, or did SK sum it up pretty well?
Well, the only thing I want to add is where you mentioned the lending, going all the way back to you mentioning the lending and that being similar to what banks operate. BT has a background, more than 25 years of working with Fidelity and State Street. And so his training and his focus is to use this to build this decentralized platform to operate like a bank, like a business. And so he has just constantly been working on it being a two-sided marketplace, and that's the term that he uses. So so we're seeing those developments. The timing is great. Because, as much as we've hated the bear market, it shook out a lot of the jokers, a lot of the folks who threw up a platform and people threw their money at them, and then it just folded and into the ethers. And I think what that's done is it's caused a lot of folks who are into decentralized finance to kind of know what they're looking for. It's been it's trial by fire, and so projects like this are making more sense to more people because we can understand what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Plus there are other ways, like as you can see how he's tapping into Solana chain. There are more mature projects now that that you can tap into, and then do some work out, just in and out, so to speak.
Yep, absolutely. For me too, I saw so many, I mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but I saw so many projects. There's very few projects that were around last bull market that are still here this bull market. There's very few.
Right.
99% couldn't make it through the bear market. They needed too much buy pressure that wasn't there. And so just the fact that Elephant made it through is saying quite a bit about its longevity. And again, if a project makes it through the bear market, it's going to be fine during the bull market, is something that you can probably rely on pretty well. So
yeah, not only that, I was looking at the chart for it, just zoomed out a year, and the price of Elephant is up 89% over the last year, and that's in a the bull market only started a few months ago, so that was during a lot of the bear market. Elephant was just quietly just building and getting better. And so sometimes people complain, you're always going to have people complaining about changes. We're getting ready to go. It's getting ready to go to futures V10. But, I just did a short video about the fact that life changes. Everything in life changes. And you should hope that your iPhone at version, where are we now? 13, 14, 15, whatever version you're on is way better than 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? So that's the point of the changes. People get nervous thinking, I'm not sure what their concerns are, but they express concerns. There's just too many changes. But every time somebody like BT does changes, it is an adaptation to regulations. It's an adaptation to how the market is going. He knows how to invest in crypto in multiple other projects. He understands how the market is moving. He understands traditional finance as well. So when somebody like him is making changes, he's doing it because he's paying deep and close attention to everything that's happening.
Right. I would just add to that, basically, you evolve or die. That's it. Like that's what Elephant Money is doing. It adapts to regulations and everything.
Yep, absolutely. We have seen that BT does a great job of pivoting and kind of, seeing how the market's reacting to certain things, and then, okay, I'm going to make a change. Like this Solana move, for example, look, there's a lot of stuff going on in Solana. Well, we want to get some action. We want to get a part of that. There's all this going on in Solana, and if you're not on Solana, you don't get any part of that. There's billions and billions of dollars transferring in and out, and it's like, oh, I'm not a part of that. So I love that mindset.
And he doesn't share every detail, but for the most part, when he tells us things, it is typically based on the fact that he has experienced it himself. He went over to a project, worked it, made some money with it, saw how it worked, and then he's making a move on it. He's not just like those of us who are beginning, first few months in crypto, I didn't know a thing. So I was just, oh, I'll try this. I'll try that. I had no basis for, for what I was doing, but he knows, he's not just chasing stars. He's been doing this for a long time.
Okay, very good. Love it. We do have some questions from the audience here, so let's bring some of those up. Some of them are just price related, but maybe we'll just get your thoughts on some of these things. When will Elephant Money start heading up again? From SJ. So price discussion is always everybody's favorite thing to do. But just what are your thoughts? And again, we're not holding you guys to any of this. No one knows for sure what the future is going to bring, but just give us some thoughts on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that we know how Elephant Money, the token itself, operates, right? Remember, it is a fixed supply of 1,000 trillion tokens, and half of which is in a graveyard. So go ahead and write off 500 trillion right there. The other 500 trillion that's left is split between the LPs and Bertha and us human holders, right? And so we're all vying for as much of that 500 trillion that's remaining. Now, I may have shown this before on your page here, James, but we've had the 2 supply shocks in 2022, the second one in 2023, and aiming for the 2024 one. Now, of this, right, it basically takes 2 things. The very first supply shock we ever did was when Bertha, out of the 500 trillion remaining, had 212. And then collectively with the herd, we dropped the LPs down below 100, right? 2023, we're recovering from, the flash loan 2 years ago, and Bertha was recovering, but the LPs were still below 100 trillion tokens, and we saw the start of that second bull run. Now, supply shock, I mean. Now for 2024, Bertha at 194, 196, it's been hovering. And I saw another question in there about why is Bertha going down? And it's because she pays liabilities, right, from futures. But she's carrying weight. She's holding weight, which is the most important part. Now, she's of a healthy size now, much like the first supply shock. But the LPs, we've got to get these back below 100 trillion. And that will take time, which is a reason why BT's doing all of the forward thinking moves, which is putting Elephant token and Trunk over on Solana and launching a new Savannah House token that utilizes Trunk. All of that's going to get eyeballs on Solana, which feeds them over, funnels them over to the elephant.money site. And you'll inevitably get new eyes on this. And remember, too, that with BT being doxxed, he's going to all of these conventions. Actually, the first Elephant Money one's going to be in Nashville in July. So if you have a black NFT, anybody, you can partake in that. But he's out there networking with these folks and getting this out there. So it's a fantastic time. I still think everything is an early positioning that you can take on any of the products at Elephant Money, but because he's building and forwarding and marketing, forward thinking with everything, it'll just be a matter of time before the LPs start going back the other direction, and everything ends up being okay with futures. So that other question someone had, we were at 198 trillion back in December, and now we're down to 194. So over 4 months' time, Bertha's been doing what she's designed to do, which is pay off the liabilities of futures. And all the small claims kind of come out of the BNB reserve, but anything above 1% this amount comes straight out of Bertha. And it's a healthy system overall, understanding the forward thinking moves that are happening with BT and Solana and everything coming.
Okay, very good. SJ says, great explanation. Thank you. So good answer there. Let's see. Let me bring up a couple more audience questions, and then I think CC might have something. I see your screen. You got some things to perhaps share with us.
Oh, this is on that same topic real quick.
Oh, okay. Let's bring that up then.
Yeah. Patrick Cryptozoa, one of the community members who, we've all really become good friends, and he writes wonderful articles. So here's what he said about price. He said, when you compare across the previous 2 elephant money parabolas, you can see that this is the 3rd time we are going to send the parabola. The difference is that this time, the strength of Bertha is apparent. Even in the face of massive elephant cells, Bertha simply treading water in elephant supply is testament to the strength of the system. Elephant money continues to pay liabilities, continues to use the buy and sell taxes to buy more elephant and drain the LPs. If BNB can continue at breaching its all-time high and the cells slow down, we may have just seen the start of the 3rd parabola.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Patrick. I believe he's who I heard about elephant money from back in the beginning. So Drip and elephant money were the 2 that he told me about and I got into. So thank you, Patrick. Appreciate that. Let's see. Questions we got here. If anybody has any other questions, let me know too. James, you are the only one on stage without crypto in your name. That is true. You know what? Let me fix that.
Oh, yeah, you tried. You were trying to get some ideas on a
James.
There you go.
James Crypto Pelton. There you go. Just keep it simple.
Just nailed it.
I don't have a lot of creativity. So, people are like, oh, what's the name of your YouTube channel? I'm like, James Pelton. I don't know. What else would I call it? I don't get it. So thank you, James Crypto Pelton.
Sweet.
Sean says, remember elephants. They start small until they get so big. So, yes. So, and I always think it's ironic too that a male elephant is called a bull, and we're in the bull market. It's like it was made to be, It's like the eclipse, the perfect everything coming together.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Anybody else have any other questions for us, or CCSK? Anything else you'd like to share with us? I would like to, for new people, because this is the question I get most often, is what's the best way to get involved in elephant money? So we answer it every single time you guys come on. But I think a really important question for people, because sometimes people watch and they go, oh, futures and now trunk could be a really good play. And what do I do? How do I get into this ecosystem? So maybe talking a little bit about what you guys would consider if you were brand new, just getting into crypto and just getting into the bull market and you see elephant money, what would you guys do to get in? Maybe that's the question I'd ask.
Here's what I say. Watch every SK Crypto K video about elephant money. You'll know more than you ever imagined you would learn. And you'll learn it quickly and easily, and you'll laugh half of the time as well. SK is incredibly brilliant and talented. And I do actually mean that. If that I do recommend starting with watching some of his videos. He does tutorials. And then there are some other community members. If I can show you my screen, I've got 2 folks to show you.
Yes, here you go.
This is the Fly and DeFi channel. And Chris Farrell does these videos. And he was just on one of our live spaces, and yeah, he one of the things he says about himself is that because he has not been in elephant money as long as some of the other folks, and all of a sudden you see him doing these really, really well-made videos teaching and explaining. And he says, the reason I do this is because I'm the kind of person who I really, really want to do my research and really understand something before I start getting interested and getting into it. And he says, is the more that I've studied elephant money, the more I just knew I just needed to continue to share this and spread the word. And then another one of our community members, Zach Minter. You know what's great is we all have these different personalities and different approaches. So you can get a lot out of every one of these folks because you know how it is when you want to learn something. Sometimes the way somebody teaches something works for your personality, the way somebody else teaches it. Or like if you're like me, I like to have multiple sources so that I can really understand something. So this is what I do is I engage, I watch these videos, and then that just helps you to know when you actually do start getting started, you feel like you've done some research and done some education, and then you just can dip your toe into the water. You don't have to risk much at all. $200, you get started in futures, or just buy a little bit of elephant. That's a great way to get started, and then take a deep breath, learn a little bit more, and just go from there.
Yeah, and that's one thing I love about the elephant community is there's very few communities who are as dedicated to their community. Like there's all sorts of YouTubers making videos about elephant money, and again, the Telegram group is very helpful. If you have more questions, if we get done here and you say, "Hey, not all my questions got answered," go hop in the Telegram group. There's a group of people eager to help you get in. You know, whenever there's a big elephant buy, it shows up in the Telegram group and people are excited about it and things like that. So go hop in the Telegram group, links in the description. It's a great community, great place to be. So
yep. And I will say this about the community. One of the stories I love to tell is when my wife and I lived in Los Angeles for 2.5 years. We were very engaged in the entertainment business down there, in the industry, and you know, they say it's a small world. You know, within a few weeks, we were meeting people who I've admired for years. Eric Clapton's bass player, Nathan East, who I used to, subscribe to Bass Player magazine. And I'm meeting you, Nathan East. And, you know, the list goes on and on. And my point is, making friends and hanging out with folks in this industry, I started to realize no one ever spoke badly about anyone in the industry. It was like there was this unwritten rule. You never said, "Oh, I don't like Taylor Swift, blah blah blah," right? You never did that. And you know, part of it is this: there's honor and respect for the work that somebody puts into what they're doing. You know, if we know Taylor Swift because she's made hundreds of thousands of the right decisions, right? Oh, and by the way, one of my best friends, to Ron Brooks, his best friend is one of her backup singers. So, you know, that's how close we are to all of these folks. I'm telling you that because the elephant money herd kind of operates on that same level. When somebody asks questions, if somebody is expressing some concerns or this and that, there's like, you can see the amount of discipline that is shown, especially by the admin, to not talk badly about a person, or to kick them out, or to rip on them, or to say that's a dumb question, or any of that. People are incredibly patient in answering questions and handling people. And then after a while, you can tell if somebody is just getting in there to rabble rouse. Well, after a while, you know, there's some patience, but then after a while, you just kind of have to say, "Hey, you know, we just kind of need you, you know, why are you in here? You know, you're not, you know," but that would be any place, any restaurant, any establishment. After a while, you just kind of have to say, "You know, why don't you stand outside here? Because you're really just being nothing but negative." But people, that takes a long time and a lot of negativity to get to that point, because the herd is like, we really, really honor each other, we respect each other, and we respect new people especially.
Yep. And I can attest to that. So been part of hostile groups and been part of friendly groups. Elephant Money has been a friendly group, so I've really appreciated it.
Yeah, awesome. I guess how I would answer that as briefly as I can, if I were brand new looking at elephant money, you know, for one, you would do your research and just realize how long elephant money's actually been here, for one. So, you know, that's a testament of longevity, liquidity, and what that provides for, you know, an ecosystem like this. But if you're brand new, I mean, the three main things you probably want to look at would either be your futures. Okay, futures is that nice stable income that you can bank on and bring your profits from elsewhere back over here too. But then also you've got the elephant token, getting that while it's at a nice accumulation zone right now. If I were to pull up a chart real quick of the elephant token, the entirety of it, right? You can see we're still on an overall upward trend line, but it's a good store of value at the end of the day. And you can't discount the fact that we are the number 2 holder right here of all on-chain BNB. That is immense if you consider what BNB is going to be doing in the bull run. I mean, I don't know what the price predictions are, $2,000, you know, whichever it may go to, but we're number 2. We're number 2. Can't forget that. And then the third thing, so futures, look at that. Elephant token, look at that. But then lastly, you know, it's even on the homepage now, but meet Trunk. This is Trunk, I don't know, the meme coin or whatever. And now with its exposure on Solana, there's a really easy way to get it. You can buy it on the BSC, just like everyone's able to and has been for years, or you can buy it on the Jupiter DEX aggregator on Solana. You can just buy Trunk straight from there. What I will say, and if BT was here, I'm sure he would say, you know, existing users that are in Trumpet, there is a play to be made on Solana. So, you know, if you can exit your Trumpet position, take the 5% hit, bridge over. So this is the Trunk page on the website, but there's a Solana tab right there. And if you go to that, you'll see the Solana address for Trunk token, where you can buy it on Jupiter token trackers. And more importantly, this, if you're an existing Trunk holder right now, you can bridge that Trunk from BSC over to Solana via Wormhole. So if you were to click that, it would take you to this. I have a tutorial that I threw on the main Elephant Money YouTube channel that walks you through step by step. But that's how you can get your existing Trunk over onto Solana. And when you do that, you can create an LP. Now, this is kind of cool too. This is going to be talking about a different token. But James, I don't know if you're familiar with Jupiter DEX on Solana, but I am very bullish on the Jupe token, for one. And the founder of Jupiter is on the team of Meteora. Okay, this site right here, Meteora. Now, this is one of the places you can supply LP to. You could put it on Radium, an LP farm there, or you could put it on Meteora. And if you make a Trunk USDC pair on Meteora, you will get an airdrop for the MET token that is coming out in a couple months. Now, if you're into farming airdrops, this is one of the best ways you can do it. I'm bullish on Meteora and Jupiter. So yeah, the more liquidity people bridge via Wormhole, increase this total value locked. You can see my position over here, 5,500, but I'm priming myself. I'm farming daily points for how much I'm going to get with this MET token coming out soon. So yeah.
Okay, very good. So is there, if people don't bridge over to Solana, is it okay to leave your Trunk where it is? If you have it in Trumpet or whatever, is it okay to leave it there? Or how should somebody think through? Like for me, I have 20,000 Trunk. Should I do this? How should somebody be thinking through that?
Coach BT would say bridge it over. Bridge it over. You stand more to gain from the attraction of Trunk on Solana once all that volume really starts coming in. You know, the LP farm alone is going to earn you not only the airdrop I mentioned, but a high APR with what's coming to Trunk. Like right now, we just kind of dipped our toes in it, right? But running the plays, as BT would say, and get your Trunk over onto Solana, beef up that liquidity. That way it's more attractive over on the Solana chain for the marketing push that he is about to do, especially before the Elephant token and the Savannah token. Remember, if you want to get Savannah token, a new launch from BT, think of it that way. It requires Trunk on Solana. So you can always think of it that getting in early on a new play as well. But yeah, I would bridge over via Wormhole. Otherwise, just buy it off of Jupiter fresh and just, you know, pair it with a USDC or just hold the token. Just bridge over and hold if you want. But it's better on Solana than it is right now BSC, according to BT.
Okay, very good. Awesome.
But the bottom line, though, with your, sorry to cut you off, but
no, you're good.
Bottom line is, you know, you're not I could be wrong on this, SK, correct me, but if somebody, hasn't heard about this, or they're not doing it, they're not just going to get left in the dust. I mean, it's not hurting them if they
Right,
haven't.
right.
Yeah.
It's not like you have to migrate to Solana
Yeah.
or you lose. It's nothing like that.
That's a point. I think I make it every time we're on here that doesn't happen in this project, which is cool. Cause I mean, there are times that I've looked up on something and was like, oh, I missed the time I was supposed to bridge. Now I'm out. I'm lost. I'm done. BT doesn't do that. And I appreciate that a lot. I really appreciate that.
I do too. I've lost a lot of money from projects doing that because I'm too busy. I'm in so many things. I'm busy, and then it's like, oh, you missed your deadline for migration or something, and now your tokens are worthless. And it's like, oh,
right.
Well, nice. Okay, I guess I'm out of that project.
Yeah, and you had 5 days of notice, of which who's sitting there staring at all of their stuff? We have families and jobs and busy stuff going on.
Eclipses to watch. I mean, we're busy. We're busy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's pretty much the updates.
Cool. Let's see here. We got Scott. Still no revenue sources though, correct? So Scott's part of my community, and he's big at looking for revenue sources. So how should somebody think about that? Again, I know we've talked about this in other videos with Scott too. But how should somebody think about that when we're talking about Ponzi-nomics and things like that? How should somebody think about Elephant in that scope of things?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. And, even though, so it's been said, and I don't know when it's going to happen, but eventually Bertha, that elephant treasury, is going to be opening up her pocketbook. And that is going to be investing in all sorts of yield farm opportunities, things of that nature. But, we're 3 years in right now. We're still growing at the end of the day. And this system is still evolving. And at the end of the day, when you go onto elephant.money, it is a suite of products, right? There's a token. Well, there's like 2 tokens now, but you can degen into those, or if you just want the stable futures annuity, you can do that, or you can do the NFT and get profits from that. But really, version 10 of futures that's about to happen, I think with the Bitcoin turbine, that's going to that's a huge step in a different direction for BT. Like what that's going to do is expose the ecosystem to the bull run directly through Bitcoin. And through Bitcoin's appreciation, that's going to be funneling funds over into Bertha. But let alone, in the future when Bertha opens her pocketbook, and she'll be, have a number of sources coming in too, not just from the products that are offered at the site. But I think that's what you have to look forward to. So I don't know if that answers Scott's question. Maybe he's a yield farmer, concentrated liquidity guy. But those avenues are going to be coming to Elephant.
Yep. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention too, you mentioned it earlier, but I think it deserves a focus, is how much BNB the Elephant Treasury is holding. So, and if we during the bull market, if BNB doubles, I mean, I don't know what we're going to see here in the bull market, but I think there's potential for some of these, top altcoins like BNB to at least 1.5x, 2x. I mean, that will make the Bertha Treasury 1.5x, and there's growth that's to be had there. That isn't new people coming into the platform. It's just growth of the holdings that Bertha has. So that's something to think about too. But Scott, I get where you're coming from. It's not a product necessarily. It's not a software as a service business that's bringing in, people are paying $30 a month and bringing in revenue that way. So I get what you're saying. So Scott, I always appreciate you, Scott. Scott is the good one where I tend to be too optimistic about things, and Scott comes in with the hard questions to say, now, hey, James, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? And
no,
so,
it's a really good question, and we're all conditioned to think that way too, because I mean, Scott, I'm sure I'm with you, bro, but we've all been in those Ponzi-nomics that die within a year. I feel your pain, bro. I know what you mean. I think it's just a different breed at Elephant with BT and his over 25 years in business economics. Like the exposure, the way he built the Elephant token on top of BNB and now we're incorporating Bitcoin. Now we're going over onto Solana, and we're going to have all sorts of different streams coming in, and you're just at the ground floor of this. And that's funny to say ground floor, but in 3 years, we are still very early. So yeah, I would keep us on your radar, whether you get in or not. You'll still be hearing about elephant money for years to come, in my opinion.
Yep, absolutely. Awesome. Well, hey, any other questions from the audience? Any final words of inspiration from CC or SK before we wrap up for the day?
Yes, I'm not ready yet. Oh, here it is. Okay. This would be a fun share. Okay, I'm ready. This is one of our friends, goes by Mike Dre. He has a very deep background in finance. And so this is something that he posted on Telegram. Chill. We're still very early. We just need to buckle down, use the wonderful tools, and just keep on winning and growing. Futures will continue to benefit new and old participants. NFTs will keep printing. Chunk will keep burning. Bertha will keep providing. And participants looking to ride the growth of the ecosystem will continue to buy Elephant. The consistency of the community's actions will drive Elephant out of the LPs. And Elephant will mechanically print green candles again. And then people will be buying Elephant again aggressively. Just need to stay the course. Steady, lads.
Oh, love Mike Dre.
Yeah. That's a cool name too.
Yep, very cool.
Yeah, that's his real name. It's his real name. It's so cool. Yeah,
very good. That's awesome.
He is so knowledgeable. The things that he says, it's almost intimidating. Not in a bad way, but you're like, whoa. This guy, whoa, he knows his stuff, you know, and he says things. I mean, he's really level-headed, really friendly, and yet it's just like, whoa, wisdom.
That's sometimes when I talk with BT, sometimes I'm like, okay, explain it to me like I'm a 9-year-old. Okay, I need you to dumb that down. Then he explains it. It's kind of like on The Office, and he says, okay, explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old. Then
right,
and so.
Yeah, we gotta get him on. Y'all haven't talked in a while, man. Then maybe next month I'll try to get him in here for you, man.
Yeah,
you can take my spot for a little bit, change it up.
Yeah, we'll get it straight from the elephant's mouth, right?
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Right.
So
it may be on some of your next. I'm just bringing this up, but maybe on some of SK's future videos, I can be his sidekick number 2. Because when SK is talking, I have to be real quiet. But if I could be in the video, you know, I could be like, oh, yo, SK, yeah. That's Def number 3 on the phone, man.
Yeah, dog. I got room for you. Come join me.
That's
what
yeah. Voice change. Then my kids will watch my videos. They would get a kick out of that. So I asked my kids the other day, I said, hey, do you guys watch any of my videos? And they said, we used to, but they're so boring. I said,
no.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no, but I'm good. I think that Mike Drake quote was a great way to end it. I don't have anything. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey, we will wrap up there. Audience, you are amazing, especially if you're from Elephant. Appreciate you guys being here, showing your support. As always, we'll have CC and SK back, once a month and a half, just to do an update. Again, I hold a lot of Elephant. I hold a lot of Trunk. I hold quite a bit of futures. So I always like to get the updates for myself and then also for my community. So thank you, audience. You guys are amazing. Please hit like on the way out. CC and SK, thank you guys for being good friends. We always have a good time. I actually had to reschedule on these guys last minute last week, and they were just real gracious with me about that. So I appreciate that. Well, thank you.
You're a good guy. That's easy.
Yeah. Well, and I always have a good time with you guys. I feel like we have, good rapport and can joke around about stuff. So appreciate you guys. Anytime you want to come back, just let me know. I will bring you back on. So thank you guys so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Take care, everybody. Yeah. Happy Eclipse Day. We will talk to you later. Have a wonderful evening. Goodbye.